All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. Today we are going to look at the EV and charging sector, and we're going to do the same thing we do all the time, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only one here, but the horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as the lower indicators. Again, I say 80% of the work is up here, 20% is down here, because I promise you it's all about breaking and losing the moving averages. Support and resistance lines too, but these 5 bad boys, bad girls right there, they carry a lot of weight. So look, obviously there's a lot of bad, right? And before I just get into it, I'm going to do what we did last week, man. So no, actually, the last time I made this video was a little closer to the middle of the month. I had a little injury, nothing cool at all. I'm going to make a joke about it when we look at MULN. But yeah, the last time I made this video, we started on the weekly for Tesla. Every single video, I always start on the daily, but I started on the weekly and I highlighted the 200, okay? And I said it will either bounce majestically up or it will horribly crash if it loses it. And I mean, look, we're still early in this week, but clearly last week was ugly. Today was an 11% loss, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I mean, there was so much bad that happened, and I'm telling you, it all started when you lose the 200. The 200 is our last moving average for a reason, right? It's not, I didn't make these up, right? These are the 200, the 100, and the 50 are almost industry standard. The 20 and the 8 are a little intermediate. I'll be honest with you. Not a lot of people use those. I'm hoping you do and you love them, right? Even down here, the stack that we have, the 3 together, look, by themselves, they're all good. But if you can stack them together and do good things, you know, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm digressing. Back to the chart, right? You can see it just devastatingly on the daily. But again, it would have been very easy avoidable on the weekly if, you know, this is not financial advice, but if you took my advice, you get out once it looks like the 200's lost. Because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, all 5 are up here. We've now lost all the moving averages on the weekly. I get really scared when that happens on the daily, okay? Because you've seen how many days, right? I'm going to go to a different, you know what? Let's just run around real quick. I shouldn't do this. I hate when I do this. But look, MULN, look how many days it's under the 8 and the 20. So many days, right? So many days. The last thing, not this thing, TSLA. The last thing I want is just weeks. And look, it's already been a bunch of weeks, don't get me wrong, but now we're under this battle and I don't think it's over, right? So I'm telling you, there's still a lot to be concerned about. Clearly, do I have any more lines down here? I don't. Let's just make them really quickly. Have we lost this already? Let's use that. Actually, that's a good one. We'll use that day. Wow, we already lost that. Dang. No buenos, no bueno. So we're going to put one right there. We're going to put one right there. And I'll be honest with you, 60, 69 seems like the strongest support because it hits it here, it hits it here, it hits it here, it hits it enough times to where that does seem legit. Look, if I had to give a very, very worst case, a very, very worst case is under 30. Okay, an extreme worst case would be coming down here. But again, I don't even think it's in. Excuse me. I don't think it'll get this low because this should be strong enough to stop it. But again, we're talking about almost a 50% drop, right? I'm just using rough numbers. 100 is 60, right? That's pretty much 40%, right? On the NASDAQ, I threw out that there might be about a 20% drop, right? Let me just quickly go to NASDAQ. And look, NASDAQ, okay, let me do this. You know I hate jumping around, but I've got a lot on my mind. It's been a while since I've made this video, right? So look, we're going to come to the NASDAQ. First and foremost, I've always said it, no individual stock is better than the markets, okay? If the NASDAQ's not doing well, there's no tech stock that will magically fly while the NASDAQ drops, right? It doesn't work like that, right? So, couple things. You can see, wow, okay, the first thing I want to say is just roughly this slope, okay, And the Tesla, oh man, no, the Tesla is worse. Look how just dramatically this drops, right? You can almost say from the 12th down, it came here, Comp Q, NASDAQ Composite. You know, from the 12th, I mean, it drops, but there's no, violent drop, right? And I think that goes back to what I'm saying. When the NASDAQ does bad, stocks do even worse. From there, look, why did I come to the NASDAQ? Simply put, the NASDAQ is trading under all the moving averages, right? The 200's up here. And we just talked about how bad that is on the weekly for Tesla. You can imagine how bad that is on the daily, right? For the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ's doing bad, oh, that's why I came to the NASDAQ as well. We're sitting at 10,000. I have my lowest line down here at 8,000. Okay, again, do I know it's going to come down here? Obviously not. Am I bracing myself for a 20% drop? You got to believe I am. And if I think that this is going to drop 20%, going back to Tesla, there's really no reason to believe it wouldn't drop the 40% from 100 to 60, right? Because again, when the market's bad, stocks do worse. So I'm not here to try to scare. I'm not trying to, bring doom and fear. I'm just giving you my realistic opinions, right? And hey, if I'm wrong, you tell me in the comments why you disagree. We all learn together and it's a beautiful thing, right? But let's just even look down here real quick because there's not much to talk about up here. Nothing but trading under the 8. Nothing but it, right? One day, red is going to get filled by green. Just no time soon. Okay, and look, the last 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just stop at the 3 weeks. There's only been 2 days of buying. And I've said it, when volume cracks the 50 moving average, that's when percentages start to really move. Unfortunately, it's been nothing but reds over the 50. And that's why you see this, right? So yeah, really from the 12th onward, Tesla, man, there's not too much more to say. And one more time, there's a lot of reason to believe the worst is nowhere near over. Okay, Ford, man, our little champion right here. Again, break the 8, break the 20. Beautiful, right? And uses the 8 as the support line up. I love it. Couldn't get over the last one. Tried to bounce, couldn't get over the last one. Tried to bounce one more time even. And then eventually just too much, right? So, it's sad. Plenty of opportunities to lock good profit. I was kind of talking about locking profit around here too, right? Obviously, I will never tell you what to do with your money. I will never tell you what I'm doing with my money until it's done, right? But there's again, I love the 8 moving average rule so much. And remember, when things get bad, wait for the 20. Okay, like rule number 1 is definitely get over the 8, but sometimes things get so bad that make the criteria a little harder, right? If your criteria is harder, it'll make your stocks better, right? Not as bad as selling, right? Because again, we went 3 weeks out with Tesla, right? This one in 2 weeks, there's definitely been a lot more selling than buying, but not as devastating. And again, Ford had a real nice uptrend. And look, green, very quickly, red. You see that? And I promise you, one day with Tesla, these are going to just fly with green, okay? It happens. I'm telling you, it always happens. And you can see it here. A string of green is quickly eaten by a string of red, okay? This string of red will one day get quickly eaten by a string of green. That's this parabolic game that we play, and that's how we use the moving averages, right? So I'm 9 minutes in and only 2 stocks in. That is not good. So RSI, MACD, and volume, nothing looks good, right? Nothing looks good. We are 1, 2, 3, 4. We're trading under all 5 lines, under all 5 moving averages. Not good, right? Where are we on the weekly? We're about to lose the 20 on the 200. Tesla already lost it, and we saw the devastation. And look, this thing almost lost it once, bounced. Almost lost it twice, bounced. Almost lost it 3 times. I think it's going to lose it this 3rd time, right? So, again, just it's scary times, people. And look, I'm, is what it is, people. Is what it is. I'm not here to, pretend, right? That's just really what it is. MULN. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I hurt my leg just jumping up and down on this MULN swing that I made, but look, it only takes a couple days of breaking the 8 to make a real good run. I put it in the chat. The second this 50 was lost, it was game over, and then boom, you can see it, right? So MULN, I had been wildly bearish, right? There was a good moment here for sure. Okay, oops, sorry, went the wrong way. But since then, just wildly wild. Because look, it just never gets over the 8. Tries to right here, but not with confirmation, right? But then this one felt different, made a beautiful run, couldn't get past this line and falls back down, right? Unfortunately, what would have been nice is up, bounce, right? Like bounce and break, right? It just couldn't. The 8 is still not really a broken line, And one more time, volume is king, okay? If you can go 200 million, next day, 400 million, next day, 600 million, that's gonna bring you silly money. Then when you go from 600 all the way down to 300, almost a 50% drop in volume, that's bad, okay? And again, I say it, volume is king, right? There's a reason we added the volume indicator to this, right? This wasn't here on the original ones. Volume's important, and I regretted not talking about it before, but yeah, MULN, one more time. Bunch of trading under the 8. It tries here, but not good enough. Falls again, tries horizontally, and then here, once it broke the line, that was game. And look, I'll be honest, it didn't quite get to the 100. It felt like it wouldn't do it again. And then just as it stuttered, and it was gone, right? So super predictable. But where are we? Look, this isn't a good weekly yet, right? And I've said it so many times, you need a good weekly chart to be able to believe you're going to have a bunch of dailies, right? From there, go to the monthly. If the monthly looks good, the weekly will be good, which will make the dailies even more great, right? So just keep your time frames in mind, right? But all we're really doing on the weekly is trading under the 8, right? There's really no reason to believe yet that we're going to go. And this is where I say it, right? I don't even think it's worth getting in if it breaks the 8. If it could break the 20 on the weekly, I'm in. Because I would much rather trade from this 35 cent window all the way up to $1, right? Who cares about this 22 to 36 window? What is that? I mean, it's a decent percentage, don't get me wrong, right? It might be like 50%, yeah. But from 36 to $1, you're almost 3xing your money. You're actually just undering, right? So risk reward, right? Use these lines as your kind of your gauge of where it's going to go for the ceiling, right? But yeah, still a lot of reason to believe MULN's going to do nothing. I promise you though, if this thing bounces, I'll be ready and we'll go bullish again real quick, then turn bearish again. But everything looks bad in tech because the NASDAQ looks bad, right? And no individual stock is better than the NASDAQ. LIDR, look at this. Horizontal, lose the cluster, you're down, nowhere near trading above the 8, right? Rule number 1 is get over the 8, and I mean, just look, no one really, it's better volume that we'll see on some of them. Hey, it's at least getting close to 800K, but yeah, nothing great there. Super ugly MACD. This is actually back in the negatives now. RSI I know is low, but I think we were watching on some of the videos yesterday, they were even in the 3s. So yeah, it's tough out there. And again, I know it seems like, and I got to zoom out because I think we're in all-time low. Yeah, we're in all-time lows right here. And you can see it again, right? It's not as obvious as the 200 moving average, but the last thing, and again, it's pretty much the last green candle, give or take. It's actually this red one that I use. But once you lose this, boom, real quick, right? And 70, like this is almost 80 to, this is a 50% drop in literally a week and a half, right? So that's a pretty big chunk. And I'm telling you, all-time lows is the worst place you want to have your money. And I'm also saying this is not over yet. The 20 still needs the like, it's gonna, this is what's happening right now, right? They're both coming down. They're both coming down. Eventually they're going to horizontal, and it's either going to go up or keep going down, right? I'm telling you, the last thing you want to ask is how much lower can it go, because there are literally 50 more cents that this thing can lose, right? I am not implying it's going to zero, but if I think that the NASDAQ is about to lose 20%, if I think Tesla, a well-established big company, is about to lose 40%, yeah, LIDR might lose 60, 70% here, right? It's very, very plausible, okay? And I mentioned it on StockTwits. I would much rather assume really bad things and be positively happy when it doesn't happen than just sit blindly and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe what a deal I'm getting at 170. Oh my gosh, I can't believe a deal I'm getting at 123. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what deal I'm getting at like 80 cents right here. Oh my gosh, this thing just came back up to 130. Oh yeah, let's just start going. It's, you know, like don't, it's a very deadly game to your bank account, okay? My mommy and daddy don't give me unlimited money, right? Like, I don't know what your situation is, but yeah, I gotta work for my money. And I can't just keep blindly throwing it into, you know, stocks. And believe me, I know it'll all recover one day. I know these prices are gifts. I get that. But hey, you know, as good as a gift as it was up here, this is even better a gift, right? And if you didn't buy at 7, you can literally buy double that amount around here. And if you still don't buy at 377, you can buy almost double the amount when it gets to 2, right? So EVGO, what's happening? Man, this thing is literally just going deeper down, right? Horizontal was lost a long time ago. I have to believe we're at all-time lows here, right? Yeah, we're for sure at all-time lows. And again, you see it. Once that 150 was lost, that 550, sorry, pretty much the last green ones, it just nothing but red. And look, red, 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 red. One day will fill with green, 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 green. Just not yet. And look, no one's buying this bad boy. No one's buying it, right? And a lot of volume's happening, but it's all sales, right? So just so much. And look how bad this weekly is, right? If you're nowhere near the 8 on the weekly, you cannot come in expecting good things the next day, okay? And hey, if you get a little pop, you can't believe it's going to be sustained, right? I'm not here to be mean. I'm not here to be negative. So NIO and the one after Li, okay? These two are the Chinese stocks. These two definitely are going to move together. Made a real nice run, really just like MULN did, right? Right here, once it loses the 8, it's literally game over and it never gets over it, right? Once it loses the 8 here, I actually would get out. My expectation would be it would bounce here and then I would buy again up here over the 8, right? Clearly, it just never happens, right? So that's how you play it if you believe in my strategy. And again, this is not financial advice, but you break the 8 and you break the 20, you get good confirmation, you know, I mean, that's game, right? And you just keep going up. You test the 50, you're still on the 50, you test the 50. You can't feel too confident, right? You want that 1-2 day back to back to really feel it. This one starts up here. Again, I'm going back too far. I haven't made these videos in a while, right? Sorry. But again, nothing but under the 8. We've now definitely lost the 50. And it is one thing that I remember mentioning, right? If this was lost, because again, it was a little bit tighter the last time I made the videos, right? It would pretty much come back to right before the profit jump happened, right? Because gap fill up, real quick gap fill down. It just, we saw it on an earlier one, right? Excuse me, decent weekly, that's a good move. And hey, the day after got it, I mean, the week after got us, got us here, right? But yeah, just never ran to the 20 like it would have liked, falls under. And again, where are we now? Just not a good weekly, right? Definitely loses it last week, confirmation this week. This $10 is definitely a pretty important line right now. Or is it? Yeah, $10. That's a pretty important line right now. You can kind of say it's this, I guess. Let me zoom out. Are we at all-time lows after that? We're not. Okay, so let's make, okay, for sure one right there. And then we'll make one using that guy. Okay, a lot of reason to believe this will drop to 750 if 10 is really, really lost. And honestly, I would say, let me lower this to right there, 950. If 950 is lost, 750 should be next. Li. So look, real quick, You gotta believe Lee and NIO are gonna look the same, right? So this is NIO, this is Lee. Not, excuse me, not as dramatic, but still, you see that same gap up here. This one definitely got a lot closer to the 100 right there, right? Let me just go back to NIO. It was there, just didn't get as close, right? So Lee could have been used as your sign, right? And again, this is a reason we do this sector review. You try to find some that look the same. If Lee hit the wall and couldn't break the 100 right here, good chance that NIO's going to follow, right? So, and then look, they all pretty much lose the 8 together, and they're about to lose the 50 together. NIO's already a little bit lower. NIO's pretty much down to where it started on the gap up, right? So it just really seems like Lee will get there, right? Because the gap up starts right here and then it goes. That's where NIO is. So really a lot of reason to believe Lee is coming down to 1680 and then from there 1392. Hey, if there's another run with the Chinese stocks, maybe that'll help it, right? But NASDAQ specific, yeah, you can't really believe too much here. So PSNY. Polestar. Okay, Polestar. Beautiful run, right? And actually a lot more sustained than MULN was because this one was well more than a day, right? Breaks the 8 right there, breaks the 50 right there. And excuse me, right? That's the game. You break these two, then you come to this one. You break that one, then you come to this one. Can you get to that one? No, you can't. All right, we're going to start failing and coming back down, right? And that's pretty much what you see here. But again, you buy right here, you sell right here. Hopefully, one of these lines will catch it and bounce it, right? But none of them are enough to get it over the 8. So trying to go a little faster than I have been. I spent a little too much time on the first ones. Not a great weekly though, right? Again, during that sustained up, a beautiful weekly. During the drop that we're seeing right now, a bad weekly, right? And yeah, I always say it, right? You need a good weekly to get good dailies, right? I know that the RSI looks good right here. I see the green is over it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, right? I'm still, like I said, 80% of the work is up here. Get over the 8, right? If you can get over the 8, hey, maybe I'll start considering some of the stuff down here. But if you're not even going to get over the 8, what am I going to do wasting my time down here, right? I'll quickly highlight the volume for you guys because it's almost this entire view of just nothing but selling. But yeah, that goes back to why I say 80% of the work is here. If you can't even break rule 1 of getting over the 8 moving average, get away. Let me look at something else, right? So this is one of 2 new ones for today, okay? It's interesting, right? Because now what we're starting to see is what we just talked about. The 2 lines definitely drop for a good while. They start to go horizontal, and while it went horizontal, the next one dropped as well, right? So right now, look, this is a cluster of moving averages. It's either gonna break the 50 and go all the way up to the 100, or as it stands right now, it's going to lose all 3 of them and then just keep dropping down, right? This is definitely a really important line. We don't want to lose 185. We'll just round up. It says 187, so we'll obviously stay at 187. But yeah, I mean, this, let me just go to the weekly. This thing, not quite at all-time lows. There's another one to make here. Okay, if 187 is lost, 170 seems very realistic because honestly, those 2 are real close to each other. From there, again, I have to use a red candle. You know I don't like using red candles, but this is more of just all-time low stuff. This thing could really drop to the 140s or the 110. So right now, immediately, it's all about the 50 moving average. What is it sitting at right now? 214 is a really important number, okay? 214 will get you over it, and really 219 I think would actually be that real magic number because not only are you over that, you're kind of over this little mountain of stuff right here, right? From there, look, I just said it, right? This down, 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 down. I get it that there's some green sprinkled, right? But down, 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 horizontal, horizontal. It will either fly up or unfortunately keep going down, right? I really wish today didn't sell off as hard as it did. But yeah, you know, it's all about the 50. And really, anything can happen with these 3 as close as they are. So volume's a little low. So again, a lot of this might be dictated. Let me just go to the minute real quick. Yeah, that's not a great minute chart, right? So I've talked about this a couple times. You don't want to see this many dashes in a minute. That said, it's at least nice to see that this is starting to rise, the 50-day average, right? Because at one point the 50-day average was as low as 16K, right? Starting to get a little closer to 50, and you can see it's starting to crack the hundreds a little bit. So hey, maybe with volume it'll help horizontal go up. It kind of seems like this is going to be going down. NKLA, NKLA. Okay, interesting. So what's happening here? This definitely, okay, I'm going to zoom out because I don't remember the last time I made the video, right? But this went pretty hard down, horizontal, and it now looks like it's trying to go up, right? I like that we're actually, because look, try to break the 20, fail, use the 8 as a bounce point and actually go up, couldn't break the 50, but it seems like it's trying to, because again, this did not lose the 8 today, right? No, the 8 is 238 and this closed at 239. Hopefully, we can bounce off the 8 and make one more attempt at the 50. I'll be honest with you, I really wouldn't touch this stock. Yeah, I think until here, until 285, you know? And then I'll go ahead and move this guy up to here. We'll take that guy there. Because, hey, if you want to go 285, maybe you can swing it to there. I just would feel a little uncomfortable. The other move you can try to do is swing it from 242, which is the 20 moving average, all the way to the 50 at 271. But again, that's just a little too tight for me, right? What I would love to do is break the 50 and just trade up in here, right? That would be much nicer than this tightness right here. So I still say I really wouldn't touch this over the 50, just me personally. However, there could be an interesting trade setup tomorrow, but at the very minimum, don't touch this thing until, you know what, let's do it together. I'm going to set an alert for 243. Again, alert does not mean immediate buy. Alert just means, hey, check that out. Is it worth looking? But look, 243 will at least put us over the 20 moving average. And hey, maybe it'll make its way up. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow morning. If I got the time, maybe I'll look at it. If I don't, hey, it's okay. RIVN. Okay, this is another new one. Ouch, I did not know it looked like this, I'll be honest. I'm surprised I actually didn't have this one before because I actually see some of these driving around in LA, right? So I have seen the car, and I mean, look, I'm going to go to the weekly. This thing was $100 stock when it started, right? So the fact that we're already down at 17 seems really bad. I promise you, I still don't think the worst is over, right? Because you've seen it. We still have a long way to go before this ever catches up to this, right? So this thing can really drop. And are we at all-time lows? Is there? Yeah, there's not even, I literally can't make any other line except this, okay? Because all we've got is red on the weeklies, and I mean on the dailies as well, right? So I'm telling you, the last thing you want to do is have your money in all-time lows. This was all-time low at one point until this string of red came, right? And to go from 25 to 17, I can't do the math in my head that quick, but that's a lot of 10%, right? Because every 5 is 10%, and we've gone more than 5. So geez, okay, that's almost 20% right there. Geez, RIVN, there's not much more I can show here. Honestly, this could keep getting worse. And again, I'm telling, just look at this. No one's buying this thing, right? So a lot of the stuff I've been saying on the other one still repeating here. VLDR, look, this one did its real best to stay in this horizontal cluster. Once you lose the cluster, all that happens is you start trading under the 8, start trading under the 20. This one I know is close to all-time lows. It's definitely already in all-time lows, right? So the devastation is not over, right? That's really the message as I just kind of speed through these last ones, right? Solo, again, look at it, right? Almost the exact same chart. Horizontal, lose the horizontal, nowhere near winning the 8 moving average. From there, no one, literally 1, 2, 3, 4 days of buying in almost a month. Embarrassing. It really is. And again, I'm not here to bash Solo, but if you see that, and look, I had my all-time low line at 99, right? Once 99 was lost, there's no reason to believe 60 cents wouldn't happen. Now that we're sitting at 60 cents, there's no reason to believe 30 cents isn't real right now. For sure, this can lose another 50%. I'm not here to bash. I'm just being real, right? CHPT, last on the list. Again, super sad, right? I kept saying this one might drop. Oh, dude, this one's already at all-time lows. No, you're lying. Oh, man, that happened. Psh, damn, sad. I know a lot of people like this stock. I'm telling you. Once you hit all-time lows, things are bad. NASDAQ looks ugly. Oh man, trade safely out there is all I got to say.